I need to tell you about the most insane family dinner that just happened to me, and honestly, I'm still sitting here in complete shock. My own sister looked me dead in the eye, told me to find another table because I was adopted, and then stuck me with a $3,200 bill. Yes, you heard that right. $3,270. For a family dinner that I wasn't even wanted at. Stay with me because this story gets absolutely wild, and I need to know if I'm overreacting or if my family has completely lost their minds. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I share real-life stories about family drama, relationships, and all the messy situations we find ourselves in. And trust me, today's story is one for the books. Before we dive in, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Seriously, your support means everything to me, and it helps me keep sharing these stories with all of you. Alright, let's get into this absolute nightmare of a family gathering. So let me give you some background first because context is everything here. I'm 28 years old, and yes, I was adopted when I was 3. My parents adopted me after years of trying to have children naturally, and then surprise surprise, 2 years after adopting me, my mom got pregnant with my sister Emma. Now, growing up, I always knew I was adopted. My parents never hid it from me, and honestly, it was never really an issue. Or at least, I thought it wasn't an issue. Emma is 23 now, and we've had a complicated relationship over the years. There's always been this underlying tension that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Little comments here and there, moments where she'd emphasize that she was the real daughter, subtle digs about how I didn't really belong. But I always brushed it off as sibling rivalry, you know? I thought maybe she was just being a bratty younger sister and that she'd grow out of it eventually. Our parents always treated us equally, or at least they tried to. Same opportunities, same level of support, same amount of love as far as I could tell. They paid for both of our college educations, helped us both with our first apartments, and were there for both of us through breakups, job losses, and all of life's ups and downs. I never felt like the adopted kid. I felt like their daughter. Period. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. Emma calls me out of the blue, which honestly should have been my first red flag because we usually just text. She's all sweet and friendly on the phone, telling me how she wants to plan this big family dinner to celebrate Mom and Dad's 35th wedding anniversary. She says she wants it to be really special, that she's found this amazing upscale restaurant downtown, and that she wants to treat everyone. She specifically says, and I quote, "I want to do something really nice for them, and I want the whole family there." I thought this was actually really sweet. Like, maybe Emma was finally maturing, wanting to do something thoughtful for our parents. I was genuinely excited about it. She told me the date, the time, and the name of the restaurant. I looked it up, and guys, this place was fancy. Like, the kind of fancy where the menu doesn't have prices on it, if you know what I mean. I asked Emma if she was sure about the location because I knew it would be expensive, and she insisted that she wanted it to be special and that she had it covered. The night of the dinner arrives, and I show up right on time. I'm wearing this nice dress I bought specifically for the occasion, brought a thoughtful gift for my parents, and I'm in a genuinely good mood. I walk into the restaurant, give my sister's name to the host, and get led to this beautiful private dining room in the back. And that's when things started to feel off. The table was set for 6 people. My parents, Emma, her husband Tyler, her husband's parents, and 1 empty seat. I looked around confused, and Emma just gave me this cold stare. I smiled and said hi to everyone, congratulated my parents, and was about to sit down in the empty chair when Emma literally put her hand on the chair and said, "That seat's taken." I laughed because I thought she was joking. But she wasn't laughing. Nobody was laughing. The entire table went silent, and I could feel this tension in the air that was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I asked her what was going on, where I was supposed to sit, and that's when she said it. "This is a dinner for family only. Real family. Blood family. You're adopted, so technically you're not really part of this family tree. Maybe you should find another table. I'm not kidding, those were her exact words. I stood there completely frozen, waiting for someone to say something, to tell her she was being ridiculous, to defend me. My parents looked uncomfortable, but they didn't say anything. Tyler looked down at his plate. His parents looked confused but stayed quiet. Nobody stood up for me. Nobody told her she was out of line. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. 25 years of being part of this family, of calling these people mom and dad, of spending every holiday and birthday and milestone together, and suddenly I'm not real family anymore? I could feel tears starting to form in my eyes, but I was not about to give Emma the satisfaction of seeing me cry. I managed to keep my voice steady and asked my parents directly if this was how they felt. My mom looked like she wanted to say something, but my dad just mumbled something about how Emma had organized the dinner and it was her event to plan however she wanted. Emma had organized the dinner. Like that made it okay to exclude and humiliate me. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. As I'm standing there, trying to process what's happening, trying to decide if I should just leave or fight for my place at this table, Emma hands me a piece of paper. It's a bill. An itemized bill for $3,270. I looked at it, completely confused, and Emma explains in this sickeningly sweet voice that since I wasn't technically family, I needed to reimburse her for all the money mom and dad had spent on me over the years. The bill included an estimate for my portion of family vacations, my college tuition divided by the number of kids, birthday presents, Christmas gifts, my first car, you name it. She had literally calculated what she thought my existence had cost the family. I couldn't believe what I was reading. This wasn't just about a family dinner anymore. This was about Emma's deep-seated resentment about me being adopted, about her feeling like I had taken something from her, about her wanting to erase me from the family completely. And she was using a bill, an actual invoice, to do it. I looked at my parents again, waiting for them to tell Emma she was being absolutely ridiculous. And my mom finally spoke up, but not in the way I hoped. She said, "Emma, that's a bit much." A bit much? That was it. Not Emma, this is cruel and unacceptable, not Emma, apologize to your sister right now, just that's a bit much. My dad said nothing. I was done. I was so done. I took that bill, ripped it in half right there in front of everyone, dropped the pieces on the table, and told Emma that she could take her family-only dinner and her ridiculous bill and shove them both. I told my parents that I was deeply hurt by their silence and their unwillingness to stand up for me, and that I needed some space to figure out how I felt about all of this. I walked out of that restaurant with my head held high, but the second I got to my car, I completely broke down. I sat there in the parking lot and just sobbed. This was my family. These were the people who raised me, who I loved unconditionally, who I thought loved me the same way. And in one night, Emma had shown me what she really thought of me, and my parents had shown me that they weren't willing to fight for me the way I thought they would. The next day, I got a text from Emma. No apology. Instead, she told me that I had embarrassed her in front of her in-laws and ruined mom and dad's anniversary dinner by making a scene. She said that I was being overly sensitive about the adoption thing and that I should have just gracefully declined to attend when she made it clear the dinner was for blood family only. She actually used the phrase gracefully declined, as if there was any graceful way to handle being told you're not really part of your own family. Then I got a call from my mom. She was crying, saying that she never meant to hurt me, that she didn't know Emma was going to say those things or give me that bill. But she also said that Emma had a point about the dinner being her event to plan how she wanted, and that maybe I should apologize to Emma for ripping up the bill and causing a scene. Apologize. To Emma. For defending myself against being humiliated and excluded. I told my mom that I loved her, but that I couldn't have a relationship with any of them right now. I needed time to process what had happened and figure out what this meant for my future relationship with the family. She cried more and said I was being dramatic, but I stood my ground and ended the call. Since then, I've gotten texts from various family members. Some of them saying I overreacted, that Emma was just trying to make the dinner intimate and I should respect that. Others saying that the bill was a joke that I took too seriously. A few cousins reached out to say they were on my side and thought what Emma did was cruel. But the silence from the people who matter most, my parents, has been deafening. I've been doing a lot of thinking over the past few weeks. And I keep coming back to the same questions. Was I wrong to make a scene? Should I have just quietly left? Was the bill really just a bad joke that I took too seriously? Or was I right to stand up for myself and demand better treatment from people who claim to love me? Here's what I keep coming back to. The adoption wasn't my choice. I was 3 years old. I didn't ask to be adopted, I didn't ask to become part of this family, and I certainly didn't ask to be held financially responsible for the choice my parents made to bring me into their lives. The fact that Emma would even think to calculate what my existence cost, as if I was some kind of financial burden that needed to be repaid, tells me everything I need to know about how she really sees me. And my parents' silence speaks volumes. They had an opportunity to stand up for me, to tell Emma that her behavior was unacceptable, to make it clear that I was and always would be their daughter, regardless of biology. And they didn't take it. They chose Emma's feelings over mine. They chose to keep the peace rather than do the right thing. And that hurts more than anything Emma said or did. I've started going to therapy to work through all of this. My therapist has been helping me understand that this isn't really about one dinner or one bill. This is about years of underlying resentment and unresolved issues that finally came to the surface. She's helping me set boundaries and figure out what I need from my family moving forward, if anything. Part of me wonders if I should reach out, try to mend things, explain how hurt I am and give everyone a chance to make it right. But another part of me thinks, why should I have to be the one to fix this? Why should I have to explain to my own family why it's not okay to treat me like I'm not one of them? Shouldn't that be obvious? I've also been thinking a lot about what family really means. Is it blood? Is it the people who raise you? Is it the people who stand by you when things get hard? Because if it's that last one, then I'm not sure I have much family left. And that's a really painful realization to come to at 28 years old. The worst part is wondering if there were signs all along that I ignored. Looking back, I can see moments where Emma made it clear she saw herself as different from me, as more legitimate somehow. I remember her introducing me to friends as my parents' adopted daughter instead of just my sister. I remember holidays where she'd talk about family traditions and ancestry, making pointed comments about bloodlines and heritage. At the time, I thought I was being oversensitive. Now I realize she was telling me exactly how she felt, and I just didn't want to see it. What's also eating at me is the realization that my parents never fully shut down Emma's behavior over the years. They never had a serious conversation with her about treating me as a full member of the family. They never corrected her when she made those distinctions. Their silence back then enabled her to believe that her views were acceptable, or at least tolerable. And their silence at that dinner was just a continuation of a pattern that's been there all along. I've been asking myself what I want from them now. Do I want an apology? Yes, but it needs to be real. Not "I'm sorry you felt hurt" non-apology, but a genuine acknowledgement that what happened was wrong and that they failed me as parents in that moment. Do I want them to confront Emma? Absolutely. She needs to understand that her behavior was cruel and unacceptable. Do I want our relationship to go back to how it was? I don't even know if that's possible anymore, or if I'd want it to be. Some people have told me that I should forgive and move on because they're family. But here's the thing about forgiveness that I've learned in therapy. Forgiveness doesn't mean accepting continued bad treatment. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it never happened. And forgiveness definitely doesn't mean putting myself back in a situation where I can be hurt in the same way again. Real forgiveness requires accountability and change from the people who hurt you, not just me deciding to get over it. I've also realized that part of what makes this so painful is that it's forced me to question my entire childhood. Were there other moments where I was treated differently that I didn't notice? Did my parents really love me equally, or was there always a part of them that saw Emma as more theirs? These questions keep me up at night, and I hate that Emma's cruelty has poisoned even my good memories. What I do know is that I deserve better. I deserve to be in relationships, including family relationships, where I'm valued and respected. I deserve to be around people who see my adoption as what it is, a loving choice my parents made to build their family, not some kind of conditional arrangement that can be revoked or invoiced. I deserve parents who will stand up for me, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means confronting their other child. So that's where I am right now. Taking it day by day, working through this in therapy, trying to build a life that isn't centered around earning my place in a family that might never fully accept me. I'm focusing on the relationships that do make me feel valued. My best friend has been incredible through all of this. Some of my cousins have really shown up for me. I'm learning that family isn't always about blood, and sometimes the people who love us best aren't the ones we're related to. I don't know what's going to happen next. Maybe my parents will eventually realize how badly they messed up and reach out with a real apology. Maybe Emma will never change and I'll have to accept that having her in my life means accepting ongoing hurt. Maybe I'll build a chosen family and find peace in relationships that aren't complicated by biology and resentment. All I know is that I'm not going to keep accepting crumbs of affection from people who should be giving me the whole cake. So that's my story. That's where I am. And honestly, I'm sharing this because I need to hear from you guys. Have any of you been in a similar situation? Have you dealt with family members who made you feel less than because of circumstances beyond your control? How did you handle it? Did you cut them off or try to work things out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your perspectives really help me process all of this. And if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to me pour my heart out. It means more than you know. Before I go, I want to say this to anyone watching who might be adopted or who might feel like they don't quite fit in their family for whatever reason. Your worth is not determined by your biology. You are not a burden. You are not less than. And if people in your life make you feel that way, it says everything about them and nothing about you. You deserve to be loved unconditionally, to be celebrated, to be treated with respect and dignity. Don't ever let anyone make you feel otherwise. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, for your support, and for being part of this community. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves, and remember, you're worthy of love and belonging, always.